The Bears' hard-to-hide secret weapon has become a short yardage expert.
If I was a linebacker and I saw him coming to me, I'd turn and run. I think you got to have a little bit of fun in football, and it's fun for him. You know, he feels like he's involved. He feels like, you know, he's contributing.
But the fun could be over for the undefeated Bears if their quarterback, Jim McMahon, banged around last Monday night by the Packers, is troubled by a hip bruise and a tender ankle. The number 2 man, Steve Fuller, is also playing hurt with a back injury. That would leave Ohio State rookie Mike Tomczak. 24 years ago, a Georgia rookie quarterback, Fran Tarkenton, led the expansion Minnesota Vikings to their first victory in the NFL, an upset of the powerful Chicago Bears. Tarkenton's successor is the dangerous Tommy Kramer, whose touchdown pass to Leo Lewis in the closing seconds gave Minnesota a win last Sunday over San Diego. Today, Kramer leads the Vikes against favored Chicago. Can Minnesota be the first team to upset the unbeaten Bears?
CBS Sports presents the National Football League. Today, the Minnesota Vikings against the Chicago Bears.
Live from Soldier Field in Chicago, the Vikings at 4-3 and the Chicago Bears unbeaten with 7 consecutive wins. Perfect afternoon for football, 54 degrees, winds from the north. Hello, everybody. I'm Tim Ryan with Johnny Morris here at Soldier Field. And, Johnny, a key game for the Vikings.
It certainly is, Tim. As you see, the Bears are 7-0. If the Vikings don't win, they would be 4 games behind Chicago. A division title would be almost impossible. They'd have to fight for a wild card spot. So this is a big game for both teams, but especially the Minnesota Vikings.
The Vikes tied with Detroit. The Lions at home today against Miami. The Bears won the toss. And Jan Stenerud gets things underway as kickoff comes down a yard deep. Willie Gault, the conference's leading kickoff returner, gets it out over the 20 to the 23-yard line. And Chicago will start for the first offensive series. David Howard making the tackle on Willie Gault. Jim McMahon, playing hurt, comes out at quarterback. Walter Payton, Matt Suhey, the running backs. Dennis McKinnon and Willie Gault are the wide receivers. Covert, Bortz, Hilgenberg, Tom Thayer, Keith Van Horn, and Emery Moorhead is the tight end. The offensive line for the Chicago Bears. Undefeated in 7 consecutive games. The only other team in the league with that record, the Los Angeles Rams. Most of you will see them later today against the 49ers here on CBS. First down from the 22-yard line of Chicago. McMahon, with what can only be described as a bruised butt that has been bothering him, will throw on first down, and he clears it out to Payton. Payton takes it up to the 25-yard line, a gain of about 3 yards. Good defensive reaction by the veteran Fred McNeil, playing for the injured Chris Martin. And defensively for the Vikings in their 4-man front, Elshire, Martin, Mullaney, and Keith Millard. The linebackers, the rookie Dolman on the left side, Studwell, the veteran, in the middle. Chris Martin, the injured Chris Martin, unable to go today with a knee injury, and McNeil will be there. In the secondary, Rufus Bess and Willie Teal on the corners, Browner and Nord are the safeties. So it is second down and 7. Chicago at their own 25, opening offensive series. Early movement by the Vikings. McMahon gets it off to Moorhead. Moorhead breaks a tackle and takes it to the 40-yard line. Met there by a pair of Vikings. Carl Lee, number 39, making the initial contact, and the offside signal is against Minnesota. A 16-yard gain. The Bears will refuse the penalty.
Number 79 declined. First down.
Number 79 is Doug Martin, the left tackle.
And the Bears were quick to take advantage of that situation. They knew they had a free play, so McMahon just stuck in there, got it to Moorhead, broke a tackle by Dennis Johnson. So the Bears quickly on the move.
The Vikings move to a 3-man front now with Tim Newton, number 96, the rookie from Florida, on the nose. Martin and Mullaney become the defensive ends. Dennis Johnson comes in at linebacker. Give us to Suhey. Suhey trying to get wide. Pursuit by Studwell, and good coverage again on the wide running play by the Vikings. It was McNeil who got him, and it was Studwell who forced him to run a little deeper than he wanted to. They may have gained a yard on the play.
That was a heck of a play by both the linebackers, as you're going to see Studwell and McMichael, 54. They don't go with the action of Payton the other way. They hand off on the counter to Matt Suhey. And look at the pursuit by the inside and the outside linebackers, Studwell and McMichael. Great play by the Minnesota Vikings, because Payton can be a great decoy. They didn't go for it that time.
5 defensive backs in on 2nd and 9 from the Bears' 42. Man to Payton. Payton trying to get a block wide. Runs into his own blocker, but got about 4, maybe 5 yards on his own individual effort. Studwell and McMichael, again, the tacklers. Fred McNeil, 33 years of age, in his 12th year. Cut earlier in the season, re-signed by the Vikings, and now finds himself back in his old starting role because of the injury to 3-year man Chris Martin today. It'll be 3rd down and 4, Chicago, from their own 46-yard line. McMahon will move to the shotgun.
Kenny Marjoram is in the game for Chicago.
3 wide receivers, McKinnon and Gault with Marjoram. Here's McKinnon in motion. Early movement again by the Vikings. McMahon and whistles now as the flags came down. Keith Millard, number 75, was one of the obvious culprits. Question always as to whether they were drawn.
Encroachment, number 75, first down.
Fred Wyant, our referee, number 11, blames Millard for the infraction.
It must be something that McMahon is doing also, because more than one Viking actually jumped off, a couple or 3, so there may be a little trick of the trade for Jim McMahon on these cadence count, because the Vikings have been off twice now, and that's a key one. That gives them a first down.
At the Viking 49-yard line, actually the 48. So the Bears into Minnesota territory on this first offensive series. 12:33 remaining in the first period. Suhey in a wide throw set. McMahon going deep. He's got a man open, but it's overthrown. Intended for McKinnon. McKinnon tripped over the 20-yard line, but I don't think he was going to catch up to that ball anyway, Johnny.
No, it was thrown a little bit too far, and Carl Lee was on the coverage that time. McKinnon playing with a sore knee, and they're a little bit worried about it being an arthritic knee because he's had constant problems with it after surgery. And of course, he's one of the keys to the Chicago Bear offense. Catches for 18.3 yards per carry, but good coverage there.
McKinnon practiced only 1 day this week. He's been bothered with that knee all season long. They give him a lot of leeway during the week in practice, hoping that he'll be ready to go on Sunday, and he had a little quad muscle injury as well this week. 2nd and 10. Man, lots of time up the middle to Moorhead. He's got a first down to the 32-yard line. And it is Joey Browner with a good tough tackle on him, but a Bear first down. The Vikings came up with a loose ball and claimed that there was a fumble, but the play had been whistled dead. Another 16-yard gain for Moorhead.
Yes, and that had to be a perfect pass because Moorhead was well covered. Now, if you can see off the play action, and the Vikings put the blitz on, Studwell is stopped there on a good block. As you can watch the tight coverage, Nord was right there, and Moorhead went up and made the grab. A very perfect play by the Chicago Bears, and it had to be perfect because it was well covered.
The ball at the 33-yard line of Minnesota. First down, no score in the game. Opening offensive drive of the Chicago Bears.
Blitz.
For McKinnon. Touchdown. Dennis McKinnon with a real good adjustment to the ball, Johnny.
He certainly did. As you can see that the Vikings put the blitz on again. This time he threw it to the outside of McKinnon, who was beating Carl Lee, but it was over to his outside shoulder, and he had to take his head away from the ball and adjust and then dive into the end zone. A heck of a play by Dennis McKinnon as the Bears strike quickly. A couple of penalties help the cause for Chicago. Dennis McKinnon.
For the point after, the rookie Butler, Fuller holding. Kevin Butler from Georgia, number 6. It is good. So the Chicago Bears march down the field. A couple of miscues by Minnesota contributing, and it is 7-0 Bears. The Bears have opened the scoring on their first offensive series, going 78 yards in 7 plays, and using up 3:31 on the clock. 2 rushes and 5 passes. McMahon to McKinnon, 33 yards out.
And so goes the strategy that the Bears were thinking about, trying to run the ball because of the fact that they fear Tommy Kramer's quarterbacking so much. They tried, short kick.
Short kick to Buster Rhymes at the 19, and Rhymes, second only to Gault in the conference on kickoff returns, gets it over the 30 to about the 32-yard line.
And yes, I think the refrigerator man, William Perry, was in on that tackle.
The Vikings will bring out Tommy Kramer at quarterback, and he has been poisoned for the Chicago Bears. Darren Nelson and Anderson, the running backs, Lewis and Carter, the wide receivers. The line, Rouse, Boyd, Swilly, Tausch, Irwin, and the tight end, Steve Jordan. Tommy Kramer.
The Bears are in their 46th defense on the first play here on defense.
Motion comes Carter, number 81, and Kramer will throw. Kramer has a man. It's the tight end, Jordan, close to the first down yardage. Number 83, Steve Jordan.
A heck of a play by Jordan as they beat the 46 defense. He had man-for-man coverage. Wilbur Marshall had to cover Jordan all over the field as you look at the defensive line of the Chicago Bears with Hartenstein, McMichael, Hampton, and Richard Dent. And linebackers Wilson, Singletary, and Marshall, who was on the coverage that last time. And there is the same defensive secondary they've had all season, anchored by the free safety, Gary Fencik.
Steve Jordan caught 8 passes last week against San Diego as the tight ends got 12 overall in that game. Second and less than a yard. Darren Nelson has the first down yardage. A flag on the play.
It's going to go against Minnesota again, I believe.
Fred Wyant signaling the penalty against the Vikings.
Anderson went forward. You can go in motion, but you got to go sideways.
Alfred Anderson, the second-year man from Baylor.
Illegal motion, number 20. Second down.
Well, they charged Darren Nelson, number 20, with the infraction. We thought it was Anderson. The effect is the same. A 5-yard loss will leave it second and about 5.5. The ball now back at the 36-yard line of the Vikings. All the talk this week in Chicago has been about the refrigerator. Their number 1 pick, William Perry, who's become an offensive running threat. We may or may not get to see him do his thing here this afternoon. He was in on the tackle on that kickoff. Second down. Up the middle quickly to the tight end, and Singletary has Jordan immediately after a gain of only a couple, and getting in on it as well was Wilbur Marshall, number 58. A pickup, well, a little more than we thought on forward progress. It will be about a 4-yard gain to the 40-yard line and leave third and a long yard. Perry comes in. Hartenstein comes out for the Chicago Bears. Perry normally plays in the short yardage situations defensively, and as we commented, and you no doubt have heard and read, he's now playing on them offensively. Carter, Jones, and Lewis, the wide receivers for the Vikings. The rush is on, and Perry has Kramer.
William Perry, who has hit the national scene like a rocket, a skyrocket. That time he's playing on defense now. He just busts himself through and goes right by. That was Suhey, I believe, and just comes in for the sack as Kramer had no time to even get a short pass off. William Perry now one of the last of the two-way players.
Well, the Vikings will have to punt after the 9-yard loss. Greg Coleman to Kent Taylor of the Bears. Good kick by Coleman. Taylor at his 20-yard line has got some running room. And a good tackle, a loose ball. Play whistle dead, however. It is Bears ball at their 32-yard line as the ball popped loose after Taylor hit the ground. And with 8:42 remaining first quarter, Bears 7, Minnesota nothing. Here at Soldier Field, Perry with his first sack of the season, and look how big he is literally here in Chicago.
A full page in the Chicago Sun-Times. He's become an instant hero here with his what he did last Monday night and what he may do today. I guess maybe Tim Newton might be that man, who knows, for the Minnesota Vikings next week after this game, because we have rumors that he's going to be after the refrigerator man down on the goal line.
Sometimes Perry poster in Chicago. First down, Chicago, and open up the middle. The tight end Moorhead, his third catch on 3 passes to him. And he has a first down in Vikings territory. A 17-yard gain for Moorhead. Nord and Dolman on the tackle.
Well, I was getting back in my seat, didn't get a chance to see that play too well, but one thing you can notice about Jim McMahon is that he'll look off. Watch him look to the right, and then boom, just on a delay, Moorhead comes out of the line and then takes off down the field, breaks a tackle, and makes another key catch.
Moorhead's third catch, 48 yards. So far for Emory Moorhead, who seems to get better and better with every game. Give us to Payton.
Look at the
got 3 blockers in front. Breaks one tackle, trying to get to the 40-yard line. And it was Joey Browner who stopped him after Willie Teal got a hand on his ankle, but Payton just kept going forward.
Actually, Willie Teal did a pretty good job considering what he had to contend with. As you're going to see 3 offensive linemen get out quickly. There they are. You can see Bortz and Thayer, and then Mark Bortz, 62, knocks Teal out, 37, but Teal gets a hand on Payton's foot and kind of makes him stumble and does a good play considering the circumstances when you have a 275-pound lineman coming at you.
8-yard pickup for Payton, who needs 157 rushing yards for 14,000 on his career. Payton again has the first down, made a nifty move to break the first tackle, ran through a pair of linebackers, Studwell, and the defensive end Doug Martin pulled him down. But it's a first down Chicago as they get a first down on the ground this time to the Minnesota 32.
And Walter Payton has always had his best days against the Minnesota Vikings. He has more yards against them than any other team, including one year, remember, he rushed for 275 yards in one game, almost 2,000 yards against the Vikings. And Bud Grant says he's still the heart of the Chicago Bears. That's what he told us yesterday.
Payton has the Vikings number. Kramer has had the Bears number, but so far he hasn't had the opportunity early in this game. Lots of time for McMahon, but good coverage downfield, and he had to throw to the release man, Suhey. An excellent response by Willie Teal and Studwell as they had Suhey hit as soon as he caught the ball. There will be little, if any, gain on the play. Excellent defense as McMahon had time to look downfield, but the coverage was there deep by the Vikings secondary. They'll give Suhey just a yard.
He probably wears the biggest face mask that you'll ever see on a quarterback. He has a huge bird cage there. Wants to protect those pearly teeth, he says. Doesn't want to get him knocked out, and I don't blame him.
Chicago with 106 yards of offense with 5:50 remaining in the first quarter. Minnesota has only 5 yards. The Bears have had the football. Suhey gets away from Best, but Best did a good job turning him into the traffic. Suhey pulled down by Doug Martin and Willie Teal after a gain of maybe 5 yards. It'll leave 3rd and a long 3. Well, a little more than that.
Okay, you're going to see, here's Rufus Best, number 21, coming up here in on the tackle, and he just crosses over too far, and Suhey cut back, and there was a great block by Payton on that play on Mulaney, of all people. Backs don't usually like to block those defensive ends.
3rd down and 5. Chicago at the Viking 27-yard line. In the shotgun, McMahon with 3 wide receivers. Gault in motion, reverses his field. Inside handoff, Payton, big hole. First down, Chicago to the 21-yard line. Studwell, the team leading tackler on the Vikings, with Neil Elshire putting the stop on Payton, but not before Chicago's first down.
They're getting huge chunks of yardage as it's just an inside handoff. Bortz comes across on a great trap block. Had it not been for Studwell, who filled the hole quickly there, Payton could have gone for a big yardage as Bears moving the ball at will here early in the game. There, as I was mentioning, is 275 yards against the Minnesota Vikings.
Vikings stay with their 3-man front. Newton on the nose, Martin and Mulaney the tackles, 4 linebackers, and McMahon didn't like something he saw on first down at the 22, and the Bears will take a timeout. So we have 4:12 remaining first quarter at Soldier Field. Chicago 7, Minnesota nothing. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris back at Soldier Field where the Bears lead 7-0, and the Bears approaching Perry territory at the 22-yard line of Minnesota. In motion, McKinnon off the ball. Fake pitch out. McMahon eludes the rush. Gault in the corner. Out of bounds. Incomplete. Gault actually found himself out of bounds trying to get back inbounds. You can't do that to begin with. He did catch the ball, and as it turned out, he had at least 1 foot out of bounds.
Well, you can see a great reaction by McMahon after the fake here. As you can see, Studwell almost had him dead to rights, and McMahon got away from him, had to ad-lib it, and the Bears almost came up with a touchdown. As Gault was out of bounds. It was a good call. Now here comes Mark Mullaney after McMahon throws the ball and gives him a little shot there. But he says, no, I didn't touch him. No, I had tried to stop.
Extra defensive back in. 5 of them now in the secondary on 2nd and 10. McMahon flares it out to Payton. Payton has Browner to beat. Can't do it. Good work by Joey Browner, number 47, who was right there as the ball arrived, the third-year man from USC, and drove Payton out of bounds.
You know, that was a super play because Browner had to take Payton man for man out there after Payton caught the ball, and he's really having a good season. He's at home at the strong safety spot. He's come up with a lot of key fumbles and forced fumbles and interceptions, playing very, very good football, and that was an example of it, because how many times have you seen Walter Payton fake guys out there in the flat like that?
4 down linemen now for the Vikings on this 3rd and 5. The ball at the 17-yard line. 3rd and 5. And is 7 of 9 at this point. Steps up away from the rush and hits Payton. Payton to the 10. A flag is down. Payton has first down yardage. Studwell made the tackle, and the flag is going to be against Chicago. Interference, offensive interference is the preliminary signal. We'll hear it from Fred Wyant momentarily.
Now they might have called that on, I'm going to take a guess here, they might have called that on Payton. I'm not sure because the flag was real late, and he had come over the middle.
Pass interference, number 34, 3rd down.
You got it, Johnny.
Yes, I think he pushed off, and that's one of those situations where a defender confronts the offensive receiver, and it's the referee's judgment as to who pushed off or who was doing something illegal. And Payton got a little push off and got a couple steps there on Studwell, but that's a big job for Studwell anyway, under any circumstances, to try and cover Payton.
3:53 to go in this first period, with the Bears backed up now to the Vikings' 28-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 15.
This is a big series for the Vikings' defensive confidence to stop the Bears here.
Brad Anderson goes wide right, number 86. Kenny Marjoram wide left. 2 new wide receivers in the game on this passing situation. And in the shotgun,
Gault was in the backfield.
Gault. And again, good defensive reaction. And it was Rufus Best, number 21, who made the tackle. After a gain of maybe 5 yards by Gault, who was lined up in the backfield with Payton.
And you knew something might happen because Gault 83 did not go in motion or anything. He stuck there, and it can cause problems for a defense, but not for Minnesota on this play, as they were up to the task of stopping Willie Gault. So the Bears going to go for a field goal, and this used to be Minnesota's meat. They used to block all kinds of field goals, but with some of the new rules they put in, they haven't done it as well the last couple, 3 years.
A 40-yard attempt by Kevin Butler. Steve Fuller will hold. Against the wind. And Butler has it. Kevin Butler, the Georgia rookie, widens the Bear lead. The Vikings kept them out of the end zone, but the field goal makes it now the Bears 10, Minnesota nothing. 40-yard field goal, his longest of the season, gives the Bears a 10-0 lead here in the first half. A split kickoff taken by Buster Rhymes. Rhymes takes it outside, gets around Taylor, and is forced out by Taylor with Butler, the kicker, coming over to get in on it. Rhymes, second only to Gault in kickoff returns in the conference, is always dangerous. Well, for an NFL update, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
Well, Tim, the Washington Redskins have jumped up against the Cleveland Browns. Here's Joe Theismann hitting his rookie wide receiver, Gary Clark, made it 14-0, and the Redskins are threatening again. Let's go back to Tim and Johnny.
All right, Brent, and we note that Detroit has taken the early lead over Miami in that game. A big one for the Lions and the Dolphins, indeed. Got in the lead in the AFC East. Lions tied with the Vikings in the NFC Central. Kramer on first down. He's got Nelson wide open. Darren Nelson a first down to the 35-yard line. And Leslie Frazier forced him out, a 13-yard pickup, and nobody had young Mr. Nelson.
They certainly did not, as the Minnesota Vikings are not trying to set up a running game. They don't bother to do that anymore. He just hits these short passes to his backs and tight ends, and Nelson had a lot of running room that time, went out of bounds, first down, and all of a sudden the Minnesota Vikings are deep in Bear territory, and that shows you what a good kickoff return will do for you.
They are at the 34-yard line. It's their first down of the first half. They've had the ball only 2 minutes and 37 seconds until this series. They give it to Anderson. Anderson got away from one tackle. Dent missed the shot at him, but Wilbur Marshall was right behind the second-year man from Florida and wrapped him up after a gain of 2, maybe only a yard on the play.
Wilbur Marshall, a Bear #1 draft choice a year ago. As you could see the linebackers adjusting, and you could see Marshall, who got a game ball last week, played off the block by Jones, and then Jordan, I should say, and comes up to get Anderson. Wilbur Marshall, who is growing into his linebacker position very quickly after the holdout by Al Harris.
And even as it develops, a loss of about a half yard on the play. Forward progress by Anderson didn't get him to the line of scrimmage, with Marshall reacting quickly. Anthony Carter, Leo Lewis, and the wide receiver.
Blitz.
On 2nd and 11, the blitz on. Good move by Kramer. Kramer to the tight end, incomplete. Intended for Jordan, with coverage by Singletary. And a good move by Kramer, who just seems to have that knack to be able to duck up under the rush, generally coming forward inside the pocket. And talking to Kramer, he says, well, it's a challenge to play the Bears. He said, I think they've got the best defense in the league, and I like to go out there and try and beat them, and he's been very successful at it. Contrarily, the Bears defensive coordinator, Buddy Ryan, and all of the Bears players have enormous respect for Kramer.
Well, he completed 28 out of 55 a few weeks ago when the Vikings were beating the Bears handily until McMahon came in.
3 wide receivers on 3rd down. Kramer sideliner, and it is caught, and it is complete inbounds. Carter made a dandy catch. Anthony Carter with coverage by Leslie Frazier, and it's a Viking first down.
And that's the first pass Anthony Carter's caught in quite a long time, as Kramer just threaded the needle this time because he was well covered by Les Frazier, and it was right there. He hung onto the ball, had gotten a yard beyond the first down marker. Perfect play by Anthony Carter, who someday is going to be much more of a vital factor in this Viking passing game.
He's been playing a bit hurt with that pull.
Yeah, a hamstring pull. There's Bud Grant.
Familiar gray sweatshirt on the sideline. He'd like it colder. I think it's too warm today for football in Chicago.
Here they come.
The blitz on, and in the corner it is incomplete. Intended for Carter again, just overthrown. He had a step on Frazier. And Wilson led the charge on the blitz, number 55 for the Bears.
And Kramer did the right thing. The Bears came with the all-out blitz. You send your wide receivers up and try and beat the corners man for man. Look at 55, Otis Wilson really decked Kramer after he got rid of the ball. And that's the way you got to try and beat the Bear defense, because they throw everybody at you, and you got linebackers covering tight ends by themselves and one-on-one on the outside many times.
2 tight ends are in. Steve Jordan joined by Mike Belarkey, number 86. 2nd down, 10 yards to go. Minnesota trailing 10-0.
Here they come again.
First period. The corner pass for Leo Lewis, well overthrown. Kramer simply had to let that go far too early. Well, he saw the blitz coming. It was coming in hard by Marshall, and he just didn't make a good pass on that one because he had to throw it too soon. It'll leave a 3rd and 10.
And Ken Taylor was out there on the corner for the Bears on that particular play.
In comes Darren Nelson. Out goes Anderson offensively for the Vikings. Big play for them here in terms of the early portion of this game. A 10-0 Bear lead. 29 seconds remaining first period. The first opportunity the Vikings have had to do anything offensively in the game. 3 wide receivers. Leo Lewis, last week's hero, in motion. The pass up the middle is complete. What a pass by Kramer to Anthony Carter. Made a good catch. A flag down on the play. He got to the 15-yard line, short of the first down, but a flag on the play.
And you look at the Bears bring everybody but the kitchen sink here. As 50 Singletary's coming up the slot. So is Wilbur Marshall. Kramer does a great job of getting the ball off and a good catch, but it's all for naught as the Vikings
holding number 68. 3rd down.
Freddie Wyatt calls Curtis Rouse, the left tackle, one of the 2 300-pounders on this Viking roster, and he's called for the hold. And there's the discussion with the Bears here. Fencik and Singletary talking it over.
Holding number 68, third down.
With Fred Wyatt, the referee, so it'll be third down. The ball will be spotted at the 33-yard line. Third down over again. The Vikings, who, as we said, coming into this offensive series, have had the ball for only 2:37 of this first period. Are going backwards now, having gotten deep into Bear territory at the 22. And time winds down to end the first period here at Soldier Field with the score: the Chicago Bears 10, the Minnesota Vikings nothing. Johnny Morris back at Soldier Field, where the Bears have a 10-0 lead. And the Vikings have the football in Bear territory, but a long third down at the 33-yard line of Chicago. Elsewhere, the Redskins leading Cleveland 14-0 in the first quarter. St. Louis ahead of Houston 7-0 in the first period.
And look at this, Detroit, the Lions have a 10-0 lead over Miami. That's a first quarter game. And Green Bay losing to Indianapolis 14-0 first quarter. And let's see what the Bears do with Tommy Kramer this time. Will they try him? They've blitzed him about 5 times in a row. He's back out of the shotgun. Let's see.
Ken Taylor working on the corner.
Yes.
Richardson injured. They're going that way, but it's going to be Jones, the intended receiver. And the ball came up short. Flags are down. Sean Gale had the coverage. And it may be an interference penalty against Chicago. The ball was underthrown into the wind.
It didn't look like he was going to catch the ball, but I believe Gale got his hands over his face there and kind of obstructed him. He would not have caught the ball, so it's a bad penalty for him to take.
Pass interference, number 23, first down.
It cost the Bears 27 yards and a scoring opportunity now for the Vikes.
The Bears had safety blitzes on Kramer. He threw the ball up. There's 23 covering on Jones, 89. The ball was short, and he put his hand right across his face and he knew he had done it. He knew he had done it. Good call.
First down at the 11-yard line of the 6-yard line of the Chicago Bears. First and goal. This is Nelson. Nelson gets close to the 1-yard line. Good blocking out the right side by Swilly, Tausch, and Irwin. The right side of the Vikings offensive line. And Nelson, not a big guy, but quick and likes to run inside at 5'9", 180. Just hid himself among the big guys.
And the refrigerator is coming in, not on offense, but on defense this time, along with Tyrone Keys, number 98.
Bears goal line defense gets ready here on second and goal from the 1-yard line. 10-0 Bear lead. Vikings on the doorstep. 2 tight ends are in. Jordan and Malaki. Anderson and Nelson, the running backs.
Kramer
side left. Darren Nelson, and touchdown. Nelson was hit behind the line, but squirted in with his forward progress. And the Vikings have put 6 points up on the scoreboard as we have just begun the second quarter.
Let's take a look at it as the Vikings come across with a lead blocker. Sometimes when you're that close, you can have somebody knife through, but this time they got some good blocking up front, and Nelson just kind of scraped his way through, got into the end zone with a little persistence, and the Vikings are back in this football game, and oh, how important a penalty can be. His first touchdown of the season, Darren Nelson, who caught 12 passes last week and has really become a vital part of the Minnesota offense.
John Stenerud for the point after, and he has it. So the Vikings back in the football game, and in that first period, we keep talking about the time, but get this, the Bears with 9:33 against 5:27 in the first period, but now they lead by only 3.
The refrigerator, William Perry, 72. Let's watch him this time, because the refrigerator torpedoes and gets buried by Brent Boyd and Dennis Swilly. 72 right there. He submarines, and the Vikings say, okay, down you go. And of course the run went off tackle, and the refrig was no factor.
And it's Willie Gault returning Stenerud's kickoff from the 5-yard line and gets well upfield to about the 37 before he's stopped by Carl Lee. So the Bears will have good field position after the Vikings had reduced the margin to 3 points, going 46 yards in 8 plays, passing 5 times, running for 3, and using up 3:31 on the clock. In that first quarter, the Vikings had -1 yard rushing and only 30 yards passing. But now we have just a 3-point game. The Bears will start from their 36-yard line, trying to stretch their victory scheme to 8. The Rams later today against the 49ers here on CBS. Suhey and Payton in the pro set. McMahon on first down to Gault, and incomplete. The ball was outside. Gault looking inside. When he adjusted, couldn't get to the ball. Carl Lee on the coverage.
And good coverage by Carl Lee, and that's an example of how good that catch was by McKinnon. That time, Gault was under the same circumstance. He had to turn his head from the ball and look to the outside, and he completely lost it. So it shows you how good of a play McKinnon came up with.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 from the 36-yard line, pardon me, of the Chicago Bears. Gault left, McKinnon right. Takes the draw play. McMahon steps up and flips it off to Suhey. Suhey has the first down to the 49-yard line of Chicago. And Carl Lee made the tackle, number 39. Lee in Bess's spot on the left corner for the Vikings, and he does alternate there somewhat with Bess.
And the icebox was after him too. Tim Newton, as you see, McMahon goes forward in the pocket. He was looking downfield for McKinnon. Then he's so good at spotting his secondary receivers. And look at 96. Here comes the icebox after Matt Suhey, and he just kind of more or less missed him. But if he had got him, it would have been a pretty good blow, right?
The icebox is a svelte 290, down from 300 plus.
He told me 298.
Yes, oh, did he? Well, he's back up again. A couple of cheeseburgers. His assistant coach, Johnny Michaels, gave him that nickname after the refrigerator was getting his early season publicity as the #1 pick of the Bears. Here's Payton. Payton picks up about 5 out the right side, driven out by Joey Browner, number 47 of the Vikings.
Well, I hope we can see that play again, because you can see what a great runner Walter Payton is at the time, because Dennis Johnson came across the line of scrimmage. He's 52. It was supposed to be a trap block. Watch 52. Comes across there and jams up the trap, and Payton played off it and went outside of Dennis Johnson and ad-libbed his way for some yardage. But it was Dennis Johnson with a heck of a play, but Payton still was able to get some yardage out of it.
Vikings still in the 3-4 defense. They'll rotate between the 4-man fronts and the 3-man fronts. Walter Payton on first down has been dynamite for the Bears this season. Second blitz, a long 4. McMahon reads blitz. The pass from McKinnon overthrown, incomplete. Good rush by the Vikings. Teal had the coverage deep. Studwell was among those leading the charge. And it'll leave a 3rd down. Anderson and Marjoram come in offensively for the Bears, 86 and 82. The tight end Moorhead and the fullback Suhey come out. Mike Ditka with the clipboard and the sunglasses on this beautiful day in Chicago. Temperatures in the 50s. 4-2 against the Vikings since becoming head coach of Chicago.
And he has won 13 of his last 14 NFC Central Division games. Now that's some kind of record.
4-man front now on 3rd down. Millard and Elshire in for the Vikings out of the shotgun. Here comes the pressure. McMahon steps up. The pass for Gault, and a real end-over-end pass from McMahon. Gault had no chance to catch it, and he was wide open. And McMahon really unhappy with himself on that one.
What had happened was Carl Lee was on the coverage, and when Gault ran his pattern to the sideline, Lee slipped. And then Gault ad-libbed his pattern up the field because McMahon was kind of scrambling around and couldn't quite get the pass there.
That pass looked as bad as that haircut.
Yeah, that's... Well, he said he hasn't had to get a haircut for 6 months since he got it cut in training camp.
It is 4th down. Darren Nelson is waiting for it at the 15-yard line. And Buford, number 8 for the Bears, angling for the corner. Down there deep is Gentry. It bounced over his head. And it'll be a touchback. Dennis Gentry was down there in plenty of time to try and keep it out of the end zone. The ball bounced in front of him and then popped up over his head. So the Vikings will have it from their 20-yard line. 12:37 remaining first half. Bears 10, Minnesota 7. We will see Green Bay at home against the Bears and Minnesota at home against Detroit next week. That all begins with the NFL today at 12:30 Eastern Time. First down, Vikings from their own 20-yard line. Play action fake and the pass up the side. What a catch by Leo Lewis. And Lewis out of bounds with a first down in Bears territory. Little Leo Lewis makes a dazzling catch, and he caught it over the rookie cornerback Ken Taylor.
That's right. The Vikings apparently went right after Taylor because Taylor's in for Mike Richardson, who has a kind of a pulled hamstring, and he has good coverage, but this is a question of Lewis looking back for that ball, leaping up. He has great leaping ability and makes the grab. Key play for the Vikings. Of course, Viking fans won't forget the catch he made last week, and that was kind of like that, reminiscent.
It was the winner in the end zone against San Diego. Well, they roll him out of bounds in Viking territory at the 49. First down, Minnesota. Kramer has him rolling. Forced out of the pocket. To the short man, it's complete to Darren Nelson, and Nelson gets up. Nobody had tackled him, so he picks up another yard, and Ken Taylor puts the hit on him there. Mike Richardson, the veteran and the regular on the corner, left the game with a hamstring pull. Ken Taylor, a free agent from Oregon State.
Okay, you can see that he gives a little bit more room. Sometimes the defense will dictate that because you can see Duerson, 22, going out there as the short man, and this was an ad-lib pattern because of the fact that Kramer rolled out and they made a completion out of it. So Ken Taylor on the spot.
Yes, he is. And Nelson got to within the length of the football from the first down yardage with that second effort. And a little discussion on the field here about whether they're now going to ask for a measurement, perhaps. And I don't know what the delay is. Kramer, I think, is suggesting that they'd like to have a look. And they're going to bring the sticks out.
This is a great situation. I love it. 2nd and 1. You know, you got almost a free play, and it's a really a good time to try and surprise them and throw something that they might not expect.
Kramer 6 of 9 for 76 yards in his last outing against the Bears. He was 28 of 55 for 436 yards. That's the night, of course, that McMahon came in injured and all, and threw 3 touchdown passes as the Bears won the game. But a big night for Kramer, and he has been successful against Chicago, and as I said yesterday, it's a challenge. There's no special reason why I play better against them, but I understand what they do defensively. I like to throw against their blitzes, and I've had some luck with it.
And the other thing is that as you look at Bud Grant, who has a 25-21 record, the Vikings over the Bears over the years, but the Bears have won the last 4 games. Another thing about Kramer is that he is he's a tough guy. You know, you can intimidate quarterbacks. You hit him a few times, you put blitzes on him. I don't care who you are. Everybody reacts to the physical a little bit differently, and he gets even more feisty when he gets hit a couple of times.
Speaking of other quarterbacks, Dieter Brock, the Rams quarterback from Canada from the Canadian League, is going to be featured on our Hampton show in the NFL today. Frank will be joined by Hank Strand in our studio. 2nd and about the length of a football. The measurement proving nothing. And it is first down. Minnesota. Darren Nelson gets to the 40-yard line of the Bears, and he's hit by Wilbur Marshall.
And he hung onto that ball. Did you see Marshall, 58, trying to pull the ball right out of his arms?
There's Darren Nelson, and Nelson somewhat the victim in that game against the Rams. He was the guy carrying the ball who didn't get into the end zone that might have given the Vikings what would have been a deserved victory that afternoon. But he's given the ball here in this short yardage situation. Delivers the goods, and he runs well inside. Carter, Jones, and Lewis, the wide receivers, and they're all stacked out to the right side. Now in motion comes Carter, back to the near side. Nice snap. Good recovery by Kramer. Kramer intended for Carter, almost intercepted on the deflection by Duerson, and a pretty good lick by Fencik broke up the play as the ball just popped out of the hands of Anthony Carter.
A heck of a play by Kramer under the circumstance. Watch 45, Gary Fencik, come up here and hit Carter. As Carter goes up for the ball, here comes the hit. He just goes for the body and jolts it loose, and there was almost an interception there by Dave Duerson, but Kramer did one heck of a job. Gary Fencik, Sports Illustrated, said they had a poll of NFL players, and he's the #1 of all the cheap shot artists.
He objected to
that. He hits hard, but he's not really a cheap shot artist, I don't think.
He said it was only 14% of the players were polled. This is Nelson. Duerson trying to get wide to the near side. Good defensive reaction by Richard Dent, number 95. And right there with him, Leslie Frazier, number 21. There'll be a gain of about a half yard on the play. And we'll leave the Vikes with a third down.
Okay, this is, you can see a little delay counter type of action as 20 fakes to the right. Nelson goes back to the left. Irwin throws one block, but there's great pursuit by Richard Dent, 95. Great speed for a defensive end who led the NFC in sacks last year. So now, what will they do? Here comes Tommy Kramer. He knows the Bears can blitz like crazy. Will they blitz? Looks like the linebackers are off.
Tyrone Keys in it, left defensive end, third down,
No
9.5,
blitz.
another high snap. He gets lots of time, and his pass is overthrown, and Lewis tried to bring it down. Again, the ball tipped the Bears with somewhat of a chance for an intercept. Leo Lewis just couldn't climb high enough at 5'11" to haul in that one. So it is fourth down, Minnesota, and Greg Coleman comes onto the field. The Vikings defense, the Bears defense, holds the Viking offense here on this drive with 10:06 remaining in the first half.
The one thing that Coleman has not done well this year so far is kicked that many inside the 20 out of bounds. He's been working on that. He only has 4 inside the 20.
And Taylor waiting for it at the Bears' 10-yard line. Coleman angles for the far corner. Bearcats signaled by Taylor. The ball bounces down. Will be downed at the 2-yard line by Joey Browner. And so Coleman delivers the goods perfectly. 38-yard punt drops at the 2-yard line of the Chicago Bears.
At the Bears 2 by Joey Browner.
And our opportunity to remind you about our special next Saturday on CBS Sports. Quest for the Crown, the NBA's 40th season, which promises to be one of the greatest in league history. Many of you saw the debut of Patrick Ewing this past weekend, and Kareem and Magic on a mission to make the Lakers the first team to repeat for the title in 17 years. Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Houston's Twin Towers of Samson, Olajuwon. Lots of excitement in the NBA this year. Next Saturday at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. Catch our preview here on CBS Sports.
Okay, the Vikings better watch out. The Bears have taken a lot of chances this year and done a lot of trick things in unusual situations.
This is an unusual situation to do a trick thing in. I'd be curious to see it. And here's Suhey, not too tricky, but effective as he plows for about 4 yards over the 5, and will leave a second and about 6 with Joey Browner and Chris Dolman, the rookie from Pittsburgh, making the tackle.
Boy, there are some interesting scores around the NFL. Buffalo leading Philadelphia 10-0 second quarter. St. Louis 10-3 over Houston second quarter. Where do you see some of the others coming? Indianapolis 17-7 over Green Bay. How's your office pool coming along? Seattle 7-0 over the Jets in the second quarter.
Second down, long 5 for the Bears. Out of the slot in motion, Tex McKinnon. Suhey again. Suhey, pretty good hole, gets to the 10-yard line, but well short of the first down. Trying the left side behind Covert and Bortz, and Mark Mullaney with a good defensive reaction. The veteran number 77. Tampa Bay looking for their first win, beating New England 14-6.
The Buccaneers deserve a win. They've lost 7 games and a lot of tough ones. And Detroit 17-7 over Miami. That's the second quarter score.
Third down and about 2 yards to go. Bears at their 10-yard line. Payton has the first down over the 20 to the 22-yard line. Interesting little formation that time with Suhey set up a little bit ahead of Payton, and he makes a good block.
Okay, the key guy here on this kind of a play is the middle linebacker, 55, Studwell, and you can see the block was jammed up on him, and he gets a double block from Matt. Suhey comes along and hits him, and Payton came right through the hole and got a key first down because the Vikings really had Chicago bottled up on the 2.
Brent McNeil making the tackle. McNeil working for the injured Chris Martin. Vikings have Matt Blair about ready to come off injured reserve. Under linebacking core. The blitz is on, and McMahon up for Willie Gault. He's got it. The ball comes loose, incomplete. Willie Gault with coverage by Lee had a step on Lee, and the ball was there. He may have been out of bounds had he held on to it.
Well, it was a situation that a lot of times Tommy Kramer is in. The Vikings came with the all-out blitz. McMahon saw it. So what do these days? They just let the wide receiver takes off the field, and you hope that he can beat the cornerback who's on coverage. And Gault did have a step, but Lee made the most of it there as he put the hit on him as the ball came in and kind of stripped the ball a little bit loose as he was coming down the field. So
good play by Carl Lee.
He salvaged the play there for Minnesota.
The play indicated he would have been inbound. 2nd and 10. They give us to Suhey. Suhey trying to get wide left. Studwell in pursuit. Studwell took quite a shot at him.
Yep, he's going to get him
down as Suhey dives to the 30-yard line. That looked like it was a pretty good right cross by Scott Studwell.
But it looked like he actually missed. It looked like he was trying to hit him in the head, and he may have just skinned the top of his head, yet he's going to get a penalty out of it. So I think he got him more for intent than the infraction. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll get another look at it. But anyway, it's going to be a key penalty because it's going to give a first down to Chicago.
Personal foul, number 55, first down.
Studwell, well, he plays this game with a lot of intensity, and he might have been a little too intense on this play. And he says, I never touched him. You could hear him say that all the way up here.
Okay, he plays off the block there by Jimbo Covert. Now, the Vikings had this play stopped. Now, here, watch his right arm. See, he took a shot at him with his right hand there. It looked like he missed him.
I think Suhey dove under it.
Yeah, I think he dove under it. So he was, it was intent to harm, I guess.
Yeah. Well, there wasn't much doubt about him taking a swat at him, but it is a penalty against the Vikings. Studwell told us yesterday there's no love lost between these two teams. He wasn't giving any on that play. First down. Bears at their own 44-yard line. Play action. McMahon gets time, and the pass intended for Marjoram incomplete. Good coverage downfield by Willie Teal, who was with Marjoram step for step. And no opportunity to get turned around and get at that ball that was thrown a little long. So it is 2nd and 10.
You know, the Vikings are putting pretty good pressure on McMahon. He hasn't had all that much pressure this year. The Bear offensive line has done well. I know they've added some blitzes, but McMahon's having to move around quite a bit in that pocket and throw hurriedly.
Now, he's been effective on first down passes throughout the season, and when Payton has been given the ball to run, he's been doing it. They've averaged 6 yards a play on first down. Big part of their success.
That's a key statistic. 6 yards a pop on the first is very impressive.
7:25 to go first half. This is Suhey. Suhey on the draw, and it's very well read by the Vikings. And it was Elshire. Check it. It was Doug Martin, number 79, the 6-year man from Washington, who made the ankle tackle. And it'll be 3rd down and 9.
As the Vikings bring in another defensive back, they use a lot of nickel, and 6 defensive backs sometimes.
Isaac Holt among the backs in on this play. The rookie from Alcorn State, their number 2 choice.
Turner's in.
Turner's got 4 interceptions. A former Viking traded to San Diego, cut by them and re-signed, and he's been having a good season for them.
Big play.
3rd and 9. Gault in motion. McMahon for McKinnon. Overthrown. Diving try by Dennis McKinnon, but no real chance to catch that football. Browner and Turner had the coverage deep on McKinnon. And so it is 4th down, and the Vikings defense, which has been a very steady, if unspectacular, force for the Vikings in their first 7 games. The defense has been doing a very steady job, and they do it again on that series. 6:37 to play first half.
They are 9th on total defense, which, when you think about last year, of course they had a lot of injuries, but what a vast improvement for a lot of reasons, Bud Grant being one of them. Look at that one.
Buford's angled punt through the end zone for a touchback, but a dandy punt by Buford. 55 yards for Maury Buford with the win. 6:29 to go first half. Bears by 3. He's now throwing with the wind. It's not always an advantage, is it? It depends really on how the wind's blowing.
That's right. We got a fairly strong wind in one direction. It doesn't usually blow both ways, does it?
No, not as far as I know. But except at Shea Stadium in New York, it does.
I'm still waiting for the ice box and the refrigerator man to collide.
Everybody in this stadium is waiting for that, too, although the Vikings coaching staff hasn't acknowledged that the Iceman is the man designated to take on the refrigerator, but we're told the 2 tons of fun might meet each other if they get down
right. We have some
goal
secret
line.
scouts.
That's right. All right, let's see what happens. Here at the 20-yard line, the Vikings will start. First down, 6:29 remaining in the first half.
46 defense for the Bears.
Kramer throwing into the wind on first down, and that's incomplete. Might have been intended for Jones. The ball bounced in front of Anthony Carter, but it was much closer to Jones. There was obviously a miscue between passer and receiver there.
We keep mentioning 46 defense. Of course, it's named after a former Bear player, Doug Plank, and the Vikings even use a version of the 46 defense, and so do some other teams, so that because it's been so successful for the Bears. And basically, you move another linebacker over on the other side of the line, you shift your line over, and linebackers cover tight ends man for man, and you can do all kinds of things out of it.
Second and 10, Vikings from their own 20. They trail by 3. Play action. Lots of time for Kramer. Now running out of it. Gets the pass up, complete to Lewis. What a catch by Leo Lewis. And what a pass by Kramer, throwing out to his left side. A 14-yard gain and a first down.
Now here's what happens if you don't blitz him and you just put a straight 4-man rush. Now they got some pressure on him, but there aren't very many people around here. So then Kramer gets out of it, throws on the run, and look at this pass, considering the situation he was in, and a good grab by Leo Lewis, and Kramer can kill you that way. So what will the Bears do the next time? Let's see what they do. It's interesting. It's like a game of chess. Tommy Kramer watching those Bear linebackers and defensive linemen and trying to adjust.
First down from their 34-yard line. Anderson, the running back, in motion. They go out to him. He's hit immediately by Wilson, but a gain of about 5 yards. And Bud Grant told us yesterday that's the kind of pass they like to throw to their backs, to get them downfield, not to throw the swings to the backs behind the line of scrimmage and make them cover more real estate. He likes to have them get down 4 or 5 yards, and that was perfectly executed there. 2nd and 5. Big Alfred Anderson.
And Bud Grant, who's a guy who has really just kind of forgotten about the whole thing about establishing the run. His whole philosophy is just get the ball quickly to somebody, and he said that's better than a run block because there's so many things have to go successful to make a run go. If you can get a guy with the ball in the flat or a couple yards downfield, that's just as good.
2nd and 5. Straight drop by Kramer. Sideliner is picked off by Dave Duerson. Duerson intercepts, and there's a little punch-up back at the line of scrimmage. Dennis Willie and one of the Bear players, Wilbur Marshall, but meanwhile Duerson has the first intercept of the game.
I'm not sure whether he overthrew number 20, Darren Nelson, or whether it was just short to Leo Lewis, but anyway, Dave Duerson was right in the middle of it, number 22.
Duerson's 3rd interception of the season. Gets a kind word from Buddy Ryan on the sidelines and his teammates. Duerson, like Wilbur Marshall, having to kind of prove himself to the fans because he is the replacement for holdout Todd Bell, as Marshall is for Al Harris. And they have so far shown that they are up to the task of filling those Pro Bowl shoes. First down Bears at their own 49-yard line. They give us to Payton. Payton out the right side. And oh, what a good play. And it's Chris Dolman, the rookie from Pittsburgh, who fought off the blocks and made the tackle, and Payton getting up slowly after they hit by Dolman. I think somebody else fell on top of him, and he's favoring his left knee at the moment. 7 carries, 44 yards for Walter Payton so far, and a 1-yard gain.
And a man who just broke the Bears scoring record. He has 630 career points. Now let's watch Dolman. He's number 56. Bortz tries to throw the block on him. He goes over the block and then makes the ankle tackle and brings down Walter Payton, and it's hard to tell where he got hurt.
2nd and 9, Chicago play action. McMahon, screen pass, Payton Payton gets one block, but again, good defensive reaction. Joey Browner coming up. Browner has been around Payton all day, and that gain is about maybe 2 yards. Will leave a 3rd and 7.
Terrific play by Browner. I mean, Payton had a good situation out there. He had a blocker, and Browner got through, made the ankle tackle.
Third-year man from USC, was their first choice in 1983. Had somewhat of a shaky rookie year. Of course, Bud Grant doesn't play rookies a lot anyway. And with the new coach Les Steckel last year, some changes in the positions he was playing, and this year really settling in at safety. 6 defensive backs in on 3rd down for the Vikings. At the Viking 49. McMahon sails it downfield for Marjoram, and Marjoram, what a battle for it. Who's got it? It is Willie Teal with the interception. Teal and Marjoram, and Willie Teal made a spectacular catch.
It was a flag pattern by Kenny Marjoram, number 82, and Jim McMahon threw it out there, and watch Teal. Marjoram made a real good job of trying to prevent the interception because the ball was thrown out way over more towards Teal's side, and they fight for the ball. They both have an equal right to it. And Marjoram makes a super grab, but Teal hangs onto the ball and actually became the receiver, and Marjoram became the defender. And a key play for the Vikings. 1st down, but deep in their own territory, but they'll take it, I'm sure.
Willie Teal's first interception of the season gives them the 1st down at their own 8-yard line. So they get back the one they lost to Duerson just moments ago.
Let's see if they go after Ken Taylor.
Darren Nelson squirting ahead, got a good block inside. Steve McMichael made the tackle, but a pickup of 5, maybe 6 on the play. McMahon, we were talking about him being 0 for 5 at one stretch here in the 2nd period. In the 1st quarter, he was 7 of 8 and a touchdown. In the 2nd period, he is 2 of 9 and an interception. So the Vikings defense has turned things around against McMahon in the 2nd quarter. 3:06 to play, 1st half. 2nd and 6. Kramer. Sideline. Incomplete. He had all kinds of coverage there and threw it out of bounds deliberately. For an NFL update, let's go to our studios in New York and Brent Musburger.
Well, Tim, the Dallas Cowboys explode with the big play. Good blocking up front. And watch Tony Dorsett. He'll do the rest. 60 yards for a touchdown, and now the Cowboys have come back and they lead Atlanta 14-10. Back to Tim in Chicago.
All right, Brent, Dallas at 5-2 atop the NFC East going into the game today. Giants behind them at 4-3. 3 wide receivers in on 3rd down for the Vikings. Nelson alone setback. They give it to Nelson, and Nelson has a good hole and bashes for the 1st down yardage, and he's got it. Gary Fencik put the hit on him, but credit the 2nd effort by Nelson to get to the marker, and so the Vikings advance.
They disdained the pass that time and figured the way the Bears had lined up defensively that they would just try and create a crease. They just had a crisscross block and a nice trap, double trap. Terry Tausch threw a good block there as Darren Nelson got through it as they trapped the left side of the Bear defensive line, and that was a key play. 1st down, they maintained the ball. That was a heck of a play by the Vikings. The lineman really split the Bears open that time.
Nelson, 19 yards on 6 carries. 1st down Vikings. Blitz, shotgun, and the pass off to Nelson. Nelson will be close to the 1st down. Oh, he'll be short by about a yard. Fencik reacting to knock him out of bounds. Nelson's been a busy guy in this 1st half.
Why is Kramer so great? Watch 22. Dave Duerson will come blitzing up the middle. Comes through Scott Clean. He knows right away if Duerson comes, that means a linebacker has to come over and cover the back out of the backfield, and no chance for him. And finally, Gary Fencik gets over to knock him out of bounds, but it was really Singletary who had to get over and make up the difference there.
Tommy Kramer accepts the challenge, and in the 2nd quarter, he started to really make things happen for the Vikings. They still trail 10-7. 2nd and 1. 46. Nelson, good hole. And Duerson with a good reaction to prevent that from going a long way. But it is 1st down Minnesota as we've reached the 2-minute warning here in the 1st half at Soldier Field. The Chicago Bears 10, the Minnesota Vikings 7. Their own 32-yard line. Tommy Kramer, 9 of 17, 104 yards at the moment. 10-7. Bear lead, 2 minutes to play first half. The pass tipped and incomplete, intended for Leo Lewis. Somebody appeared to get a hand on that.
Yes, Lewis had inside position for the little quick post, and Kramer was real frustrated because they had another first down play on that one. We may see that play again.
You see Kramer looking over to the sideline to pick up the signal from Mark Tressman, the assistant coach on the sidelines.
Boy, Tommy Kramer, he's a guy that's paid his dues, hasn't he? Some of the injuries he's taken.
Sure has. What a tough guy, and that's something that has a very large measure of respect from the Chicago Bears. He's dropped this time. Kramer steps up in the pocket, hits Anderson. He's dropped immediately by Singletary. A gain of maybe 4-5 yards on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
It's amazing how Kramer moves around in the pocket that time. That was a 4-man rush. They were really caving on him. He just kind of, he's not what you call a scrambler, but he floats forward in the cup and sideways and just kind of has a knack of finding the place so he can get the pass off.
We talked to him a couple of weeks ago during another game. He said, I'm not a runner. He said, don't get me wrong. I don't consider myself a runner or a scrambler, but he does have that sixth sense and eyes in the back of his head. Up the middle for Jones, overthrown, incomplete. Intended for Mike Jones, number 89. Les Frazier had the coverage, and Mike Richardson has not returned to this game for the Bears in their secondary with his hamstring injury, and so the rookie Ken Taylor continues in his cornerback spot. But the Bears did the job defensively on that series. Minnesota will punt with 1:12 remaining first half.
Now Coleman's going to be kicking against about a 10 or 15 mile-an-hour wind, I would guess. It's pretty strong against him in his face.
There's Ken Taylor waiting for it at the Bears' 25-yard line. Coleman, a low kick, takes a Bears bounce. Well, a neutral bounce. Didn't help anybody. Didn't help the Vikings. It comes down at about the 34-yard line where David Huffman covers it for Minnesota. 29-yarder, so Chicago with 1:03 has good field position and ample time to make something happen here, starting from their own 34. And shortly at halftime, the NFL Today will have Hank Stram in our studios with Brent Musburger. You'll get scores and highlights from around the league and a special look at Dieter Brock, former Winnipeg Blue Bomber star in the Canadian Football League. LA's Canadian Rocky now with the Rams and with an unbeaten football team. At 7-0. Later today, they play the 49ers here on CBS's doubleheader game. Inside handoff to Payton. Payton gets good blocking and will be close to the first down. Running behind Tom Thayer. Thayer stayed on his feet and took a couple of guys out without leaving his feet. And Payton followed along in his wake. 56 yards on 8 carries.
That's 7 yards. 8 times 7 is 56, isn't it? It used to be. That's a pretty good average.
First down. He just did get to the marker.
There's Mike Ditka there with the short sleeve sweater on. Has been dressing rather dapper this year. He said, I want to dress like a winner. So far, it's worked.
Ball at the 46-yard line out of the shotgun. Short pass, Green. Suhey gets a block from Hilgenberg and is close to the first down. It'll be a gain of about 9 to the 45-yard line of Minnesota. Out of bounds with 49 seconds to play first half.
They won't show up in the box score, but Joey Browner came up with another super play. He had to fend his way through a couple of offensive linemen there just to make that tackle.
Second and about a half yard. Browner has been a force in this entire first half. He's been a very significant figure. And in many cases, it's looked to me as though they've had him keeping a close eye on Payton because he's made a number of good plays on Walter Payton.
Second
down out of the shotgun. Quick pass out to Moorhead. Moorhead has the first down, stops the clock at the 40-yard line. 46 seconds remaining. John Turner forced him out, number 27.
Now, as they gradually get into field goal position, remember that 15-mile-an-hour wind I mentioned would now be at the Bears' back, so they could attempt to fairly long field goal. They're now at the 40-yard line.
Just had a score handed us to us. Detroit leading Miami 24-14. And there's how the Bears have been moving their pass attack around. 4 to the tight ends, 9 to the wide receivers, and 5 to the running backs. And for Gault, and Gault gets out of bounds after a gain of about 8. Carl Lee on the tackle, number 39. Chipping away downfield.
Okay, you can see that Lee is running with him. Gault turns in, goes back outside, and Lee reacts, and it was basically the short pass pattern. Now, they're playing pretty darn tight in this kind of a situation. That was a pretty tight. Basically, they've been playing off quite a bit, allowing the Bears to go down 5-6 yards a clip. They just don't want to get beat for the touchdown and then hope for the best on the field goal try.
Carl Lee, probably the fastest Viking in the entire roster. He's probably going to see a lot of Willie Gault today. 7 defensive backs in on 2nd and 2. Suhey has a hole and a first down. But he's in the field of play with 35 seconds on the clock, so the Bears call timeout. Lee and Nord made the tackle for the Vikings. 35 seconds remaining first half, and the ball is now at the Vikings' 27-yard line.
And Jim McMahon will go to the sidelines to talk things over with Mike Ditka. So far, we've seen not much sign of his injury. He's got a bad, his fanny's a little sore, and he's got a sore ankle.
He said his fanny was a lot sore when they talked to him at practice. And I guess it's like a deep bruise. And I said, well, you know, does it hurt mainly when you get knocked back on it? And he said, actually, it's when I pull out from center and I make that little turning step for a handoff or to set up in the pocket. He said, I can really feel the pain deep. And so that's what was his primary concern. He seemed to right off the ankle. He said that didn't really, it was not that big a deal, although it was very sore on Monday night.
Now, I think they may have sent in 2 plays with McMahon. Of course, he has audible capabilities and has done so much on his own out on the field of calling audibles. And as Mike Ditka said, he's making me look like a great coach with some of his checkoffs at the line of scrimmage. Now, on the Vikings side of the field, they see there's 35 seconds. The Bears have, what, 1 timeout left?
1 timeout remaining. 35 seconds on the clock. See, Kevin Butler is not resting down there. He's stretching those legs out. He might wind up being in a field goal kicking situation shortly. Stephon Humphreys has come in at left guard for Mark Bortz for the Bears. Humphreys number 75. First down. Shotgun. McMahon eludes the rush, gets the pass off to Suhey. Suhey has the first down, and he's out of bounds. And there was McMahon showing the similar talent that Kramer has to be able to skip away from those on-rushing linemen and complete the pass on the run.
Just a straight 4-man rush by the Vikings, and they put pretty good pressure as they do a little crisscross, and Mark Mulaney, 77, was putting the pressure on there, but McMahon went forward in the pocket a la Kramer and hit Suhey, who has quietly had a very fine season for the Chicago Bears. And they're not using that much time on the clock. Still 28 seconds left.
McMahon now 13 of 22, 136 yards, and he's hit his last 4 in a row as they're now at the 17-yard line.
They got to be thinking touchdown now, not so much field goal.
28 seconds for the play. Up the middle, incomplete. And it was over the head of Matt Suhey. It was thrown deeper, and it may have been a little mix-up on the part of the receivers and the quarterback on that play. Willie Gault was also in the center of the field, down deep, running a post pattern. So those are the ones who you're not sure exactly who made the mistake. 24 seconds. Van picks up the signal from the sideline. Studwell organizing the Vikings defense for the Vikings on 2nd and 10. Very big defensive situation here. 3-point margin. Man gets time. Now gets it off, complete, but it's dropped immediately. The ball carrier dropped immediately. Suhey by Studwell. And it'll leave 3rd and 5 with the clock ticking. So they're going to try to get the ball out of bounds. They do over the head of Willie Gault. 5 seconds remains, and they will bring on Butler. Butler, who has a 40-yarder already to his credit today, the longest field goal he has kicked this season.
He's the leading scorer in the NFC. I think the leading scorer in the entire National Football League so far this season.
Kevin Butler, the rookie from Georgia. Bob Thomas, who wound up in San Diego. This one is a 29-yard try. Fuller will hold. And he's got it. So with 2 seconds showing on the clock, the Bears have widened their margin to 6. As the Minnesota Vikings defense continues to play that kind of rock-steady style that the Bears have not been able to solve beyond that first touchdown, the pass to McKinnon back early in the first quarter on their first offensive series. But 2 more field goals has given them the 13-7 advantage. With 2 seconds left, we'll have a kickoff play.
Do you think the Bears would dare kick off to Buster Rhymes, or do you think they'll kick it short or something?
I'd say they don't want to give him an opportunity. They're kicking with the wind here, so it may be that Butler and his coaching staff will decide they can get it into the end zone. But there's Buster going over to talk to Bud Grant to get his instructions, the exciting rookie from Oklahoma.
He says you got to be crazy to love kickoff returns, and he loves it. So
against the
second, isn't he second in the NFC?
Yeah,
and we have the 1 and 2 kickers, kick returners.
In that game at Minnesota, Buster had 6 kickoff returns against the Bears, rolling up 182 yards. Well, so there's some Ditka fans, it looks like here, as you might expect.
Mike, our mayor, is it Ditka for mayor?
Rhymes, a deep man, and Butler did feel that he could get it into the end zone and through with his wind aid behind him, and so Minnesota with 2 seconds will have that one pop from the 20-yard line.
Boy, you know, he let that ball bounce there in that end zone, almost didn't get out of the end zone. You got to be careful, go back there and make sure it clears, or it's a touchdown for the other team.
So Tommy Kramer and Jim McMahon locked in the passing duel. The fridge and the icebox have yet to confront each other. That may still occur in the second half. The fans sure want that scene here at Soldier Field. But so far, no conflict on the
way the Vikings are going to the line of scrimmage, you got to believe they're just going to fall on it or something.
Well, that's what they're going to do. So that'll do it for the first half here at Soldier Field. And what has turned into a defensive struggle has Chicago with 13 and the Minnesota Vikings 7.
Play worth noting again. Watch Michael Jordan. Off the fake, come down the baseline. Lane Bear slams him down. The players exchange words, but so do the coaches.
How do you like this? When do you ever see this? Chuck Daly wants a piece of Stan Olbeck. And now Vinny Johnson.
Did anybody ever want a piece of Hank Stram during any coach? Or?
No, I thought Lou Saban and I had some good times together. We had a lot of fun, but I needed a little soapbox.
And give him the short yardage down the field. Otherwise, the Minnesota Viking defense has done very well against the #1 Bear offense.
That's right, and the Vikings defense has played very steadily all season long, and they're also a very good halftime adjustment team. Bud Grant kind of likes to come out and get the lay of the land, see what's happening out there, and they usually adjust very well at the half. What they really have to adjust for this second half, however, is their offensive scheme. They got to get something going.
Well, they certainly do, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. You know, I was expecting to see, Bud Grant says we might not even see the icebox and refrigerator collide. He says that's only a small part of the football game, and he's been right so far.
That's the case at halftime. So the Bears 13, Minnesota 7. We'll be back for the third quarter in a moment. Jim Ryan and Johnny Morris back in Soldier Field, and the local hero this week, anyway, William Perry, number 72, gets ready for the kickoff. He's been working on the specials for several weeks, and obviously quite an athlete. Today, the Bears have a number of their alumni for their alumni weekend. They have these one home game every year, and this year they featured the players from the decade of the 60s. And that group watching the game today includes people like Gail Sayers, Dick Butkus, Mike Pyle, Ed O'Bradovich, Ronnie Bull, and of course, Mike Ditka and Johnny Morris. This is Maurice Turner returning Butler's kickoff to about the 30-yard line. The fridge was there, and so was Sanders, the rookie, and Jim Morrissey, the reserve linebacker, number 51.
The refrigerator doesn't get to play too much, but he always seems to be a part of the action one way or another. This time on the short kick, they're kicking off short, staying away from Buster Rhymes, and there's 72. That's Robert Smith trying to block on him. He just kind of sheds through him until he finds the one with the ball, I guess.
It looked like he just knocked Smith back into the pileup. A lot of strength coming at you in motion, and he's on there now defensively. Carey at left defensive tackle to start this second half. The Vikings from their 30-yard line. In motion is Carter. Play action. Kramer. Kramer steps up, can't find an open man, goes to the release man, and Marshall just broke that up as it was intended for Steve Jordan, the tight end. And we see how things went in that first half. 230 total yards for the Bears. They had 14 first downs to 9 by the Vikings. They had the ball for about 5 more minutes, but they lead by only 6 points. McMahon was 14 of 25, 141 yards, a touchdown, and an intercept. Tommy Kramer, 10 of 20, 109 yards, and he had 1 intercept.
And only 21 yards rushing for Minnesota the entire first half.
Walter Payton has 56 yards beginning the second half. 2nd and 10 Minnesota at the 30-yard line. Straight drop this time by Kramer. Sideliner, incomplete to Lewis. Couldn't quite hold on. The ball was outside. He was looking inside, then turned around. Could not hold on to the ball. On the coverage, Ken Taylor again.
You know, that was a great play to Lewis that time, because the wide receivers in all these situations are going straight up the field on the fly pattern. This was a planned stop pattern because the Bears came on the blitz off their 46 defense, and this time Lewis was supposed to just stop, and he did. He stopped, but the ball was thrown just a little bit behind him. But that's a great pattern to run because these cornerbacks are just used to going with receivers up the field.
Ken Taylor continues to work for Mike Richardson, who pulled a hamstring in the first half, back in the first quarter, actually. On second down, a long bomb downfield intended for Carter, and it is incomplete. On the third down, that was, pardon me, so it is now 4th down. The Vikings will have to punt. Anthony Carter coming over from the USFL. And picked up in a deal with the Miami Dolphins, who held his rights. Former Michigan star. Coleman into punt, stands at his 15-yard line, and Ken Taylor at the Bears' 25.
That entire series only took 24 seconds. They ran 3 plays, only took 24 seconds. Throw, throw, throw.
Coleman with the win, gets a good kick. Taylor has some real estate, running hard, takes quite a shot. Flags are down. He got over the 35. 47-yard punt, and a good 14-yard return for the rookie Taylor. Robert Smith, the man to really put the smash on him, and flags fell right at the point of contact.
And there was also a flag earlier, too, so we could have a pre-possession penalty and a post-possession penalty. We'll have to see what happens. There may be one on each team.
Referee Fred Wyant sorts it out with his staff, including today Dave Moss, Jerry Bergman, Joe Haynes, Rick Antak, Joe Quinby, and Chuck McCallum. All their relatives at home. Happy to hear them acknowledged. And here comes Wyant with the call.
Oh, they both might have been against the Bears. It's got to be complicated. They're all getting in on it.
Well, these guys should be in New York at the UN meetings.
Yeah, look at the Vikings.
Time it's taken for this one.
Illegal block in the back. Face mask. They'll refuse the illegal block in the back. Take the face mask. First down.
Well, that was so complicated that nobody got publicly announced as the varmint on the play, but it is against Chicago. And we want to remind you that most of you are going to be seeing our doubleheader action. The San Francisco 49ers struggling at 3-4 against the unbeaten Rams in the California rivalry. Some of you will see the Giants against New Orleans, and the Giants in the thick of things in the NFC East, and the Saints not out of it in the NFC West.
And we would remind you that Chicago viewers will not see either one of those games because the home game here in Chicago was on television. That is according to NFL rules.
3-man front for the Vikings with Tim Newton on the nose. Mulaney and Martin become the defensive ends. First down, Chicago. starting from their 18-yard line. First possession, second half. McKinnon in motion. Early action by the Vikings. Draw play to Payton. Payton has the first down and picks up about 14 yards. And if the Vikings were offside, that'll be refused. 13-yard gain for Payton. Studwell and Nord made the tackle. And the signal is against the Vikings.
Offside, number 55, declined, first down.
They called it on Studwell. I don't know. I don't think it was Studwell. I think it was somebody out to his left, one of the defensive linemen.
But he has to take the blame before millions of viewers.
Well, in the previous penalties, they didn't announce who the culprits were at all. And this time, they get the wrong man. First down. 3-4 long. McKinnon in motion again. Play action. Man to the tight end. Moorhead couldn't make the catch. Knocked out of bounds by Browner.
Moorhead went right to the right to the bench that time. Both teams have been throwing to their tight ends a lot more. The tight ends caught, I think 12 passes for Minnesota last week, and the tight ends for the Chicago Bears caught a bunch of passes too. Emory Moorhead, you can see his career statistics, has caught some key ones for the Bears. Of course, Malarkey caught a key one last week, and Steve Jordan caught several passes for Minnesota against the Chargers.
Yeah, he had 8 last week. He had 4. Second and 10. Bears from their own 31-yard line. Walter Payton in motion out of the backfield throw set. Give it to Suhey, a little collision with the quarterback. Studwell comes in, and he's able to slow up Suhey with a little second effort, prevented a loss on the play, but the Vikings defensively reacted very well. Millard, Studwell, Bess, Teal all over there.
Actually, McMahon and Suhey collided. You're going to watch 55. That is Studwell. I think he takes a little straight arm here. Suhey shows some old-style football here as Studwell gets through the block, and then Suhey gives him that little straight arm and gets away and was able to scrape through for a couple, 3 yards. But I'll say one thing, Studwell was persistent, wasn't he?
Persistent he is, the leading tackler on the Vikings. 99 tackles, counting solo and assists coming into this game today, and he's definitely the on-field leader defensively for the Vikings in every way. Out of the shotgun, Marjoram in at wide receiver. They flare it out to Payton, and there is Payton eluding the first attempt by Mullaney to stop him, and Payton turns what could have been about a 1-yard gain into about a 7 or 8 yard gain. But it'll still be fourth down.
All right, they did not get the first down, so even though Mullaney didn't get him, he forced Payton to cut back, and there was some pursuit to prevent him from getting the first down. As you can see, Payton just goes out of the backfield, and here comes Mullaney, but he did force Payton to cut back, and that takes time and allows the pursuit to come in from the inside, and Payton could not get the first down. So Minnesota gets the ball back.
Maury Buford gets it from the 29-yard line of the Bears. Darren Nelson, the deep man. The ball lands at the 30 and will be down by the Bears. 32-yard punt by Buford into the wind. Down by Cliff Thrift, and we have 12:13 to play. Third period. Bears 13-7. Sunny afternoon, breezy, but certainly a lot warmer than normal for this time of year in Chicago. The Bears leading Minnesota 13-7. Bud Grant said yesterday, I wish it was colder. It's supposed to be cold this time of year. That's when you have to make more coaching decisions, get more involved out there, deal with the elements. First down. Nelson dropped for a loss. Darren Nelson, swarm of dark-shirted Bears there. William Perry, number 72, and Richard Dent. That's a lot of weight to have down on a little 180-pounder.
Perry is playing a little bit more for Mike Hartenstein. He's in there a little bit more in this game than he has been in previous games. We're going to have some scores quickly here as New England has taken the lead over Tampa Bay 16-14 third quarter. Indianapolis 27-10 over the Packers. So it looks like the Packers are going to go 3-5 unless they come up with a big rally.
Tago with a touchdown pass to widen that lead. Kramer, play action, and the pass intended for Jordan, who didn't expect it that soon. And he was being manhandled downfield on the coverage by Duerson. Couldn't get loose of him, and the ball was thrown over his head.
And he was claiming interference. Duerson kind of screened him off like a basketball screen, and he claimed interference. But No call.
3rd down and 11. And we see Detroit continuing to lead the Dolphins 24-14. Buffalo shutting out Philadelphia. Bills are on a roll. Denver 27-10 over Kansas City in the 3rd. 3rd and 11 here at Soldier Field. Shotgun formation for Kramer. And he was hit by Dent, and the pass picked off by Otis Wilson. Touchdown.
The old Bear blitz does it again. As you can see, Richard Dent comes around and grabs him by the arm as he throws the ball and deflects it, and it bounces around, and Otis Wilson, number 55, picks it off. There was almost a tackle from behind there by Anthony Carter, and Wilson maintained his footing, got into the end zone, and the defense has put the Chicago Bears in good shape now.
23 yards for the touchdown off the interception, Otis Wilson. Butler for the point after. So suddenly the Bears on defense widen their lead. Chicago 20, Minnesota 7. Kevin Butler will kick it off. Otis Wilson taking the interception into the touchdown. The second time the Bears have done that this season. As we are now at the halfway point, Leslie Frazier had the other one. This is Buster Rhymes, and Rhymes with a burst of speed gets over the 25 to the 27-yard line. Butler's short kickoff into the wind. Tim Reitman made the tackle.
Let's take a look at how Richard Dent, watch the left of your screen, you see number 76, he's the right tackle, Tim Irwin for the Vikings, and he'll push off to his right, and Dent goes way around to the outside of him. Irwin doesn't have to block on Dent all that much because he's usually coming from the other side, and Dent, 95, batted the ball away, and there was Otis Wilson with the interception.
Kramer now 10 of 25, 0 of 5 this half. First down pass complete. Jordan, number 83, to the 32-yard line. Duerson and Singletary on the coverage made the stop. A gain of 4 yards. It'll leave a 2nd and 6 for the Vikes. Ball at their 31-yard line.
Tommy Kramer taking the call from the sideline. He's saying, hurry it up, give it to me, as the coaches are trying to decide what they're going to send in. And of course, the clock continues to run. Kramer now 11 of 26. He's had much better statistics before.
Well, he's had his best days at home against the Bears. He's been a successful quarterback overall. 4-1 at home in victories, 1-2 here at Soldier Field.
Now Dent's rushing from the same side again.
Quick pass to Leo Lewis. He's got real estate. Lewis tripped up by Fencik. The ball comes loose, but he was downed by Wilbur Marshall at the 47-yard line of the Bears. Leo Lewis becoming the big play man for the Vikings.
Okay, the Bears off the 46 defense. Now Kramer spots what's happening, just goes with a quick post and give Lewis a good mark there for recognizing, just takes off in front of Taylor, almost breaks it. If Wilbur Marshall hadn't come from the backside, number 58 right there, and made sure of the tackle as Lewis was ready to break it there if he had maintained his footing. So big play by Tommy Kramer and Leo Lewis, the Vikings back in business.
His 3rd catch, 62 yards on the day, and 20-yard gainer. First down, Vikings in Bear territory at the 48. Play action. Sideline. Complete. Lewis again. Lewis had just turned around, and the ball was there in front of Fencik.
And that's really almost not a sideliner, Tim, because they're running off that fly pattern, and instead of going straight down the field, it's a timing pass where as soon as he feels he's got the defensive back running, he stops, because so many times you're running those fly patterns, and that's what you call timing. He hadn't even turned yet. Now he turns, the ball is almost there. That is precision passing,
Beautiful
my friends.
Job. Almost like a long hook, isn't it?
Right.
Excellent play to the 31-yard line of the Bears. Perry still in defensively for Chicago. Lewis goes wide left. Anthony Carter wide right. Anderson the lone setback.
He's calling an audible, I think.
Alfred Anderson, he's got a hole and picks up about 5. Good second effort by the big man from Baylor. Bears leading 20-7, 8:35, winding down in the third quarter. Marshall and Fencik on the tackle on that play. It'll be 2nd and a long 4. Alfred Anderson missed 3 games with the knee injury suffered in the first go-round against the Bears back on September 19th. Got into action last week against San Diego, primarily a passing game. That's their longest rush of the day by the Vikings. 6 yards to carry. So 2nd and 4. And the pass out to Malarkey, the tight end. He has a first down at the 14-yard line.
Oh, what a great job by Kramer that time, because Dent was coming through slick and clean, and he had to get it up and over Dent and quickly. Now watch what Kramer, as he does, he has the fake, he's got his back to the backside. Here comes Dent right there, and he just threw it right over him and dumped the ball off to Malarkey, and Malarkey took it right down, finally knocked out of bounds. This is a nice drive by Minnesota.
Perry comes out of the defensive unit, and Mike Hartenstein comes back in. Takes over his left end position. Perry's in there. They usually have McMichael outside him on the left side. The Vikings now threatening. 14-yard line of the Bears. Quickly to Darren Nelson. Nelson to the 5. Knocked out of bounds at the 4-yard line.
Well, I'll tell you, he is taking advantage of the Bear weakness in the defense. That time you saw Wilbur Marshall coming, 58 from the outside. As soon as he knew that Wilbur Marshall was coming, he dumped the ball, because that means coverage had to come from the inside to cover. Here comes Marshall, 58 on the outside, slick and clean. Kramer spots him, boom. There goes. We're going to take a look at it from a different angle, as you'll see where Marshall comes from. And Kramer, he really recognizes in a hurry and just hit it out there to Nelson on the run. And it was up to Singletary to cover from his middle linebacker spot.
It is 2nd down. They need about the length of the football for a first down. They've got McDonald in as an extra blocker. Anderson picks up the first down yardage. And about a gain of maybe 2, they'll spot the ball near the 2-yard line, where it'll be 1st and goal for the Vikings.
Well, Alfred Anderson is that big man they could use. They could have used him a few games ago when he was injured, when a couple of games they lost on the 1-yard line. And, of course, with Ted Brown out, you know, he's even more valuable to have him in there.
Kramer was 0 for 5. We commented just a few minutes ago at the beginning of this second half. He's now hit 5 in a row for 63 yards, and he has 1st and goal. Alan Rice is in the game at running back. Nelson is out. The 2 bigger backs are in. Ted Brown favoring the Charlie horse. Not been in action yet, and they stack up Alan Rice. Chris Martin and Brown, the 2 injured Vikings, both in uniform, but not expected to see action today. Alan Rice, the 2nd-year man from Baylor, stacked up probably a gain of maybe a half yard at the most, if anything. 2nd and goal. Bud Grant does not want any deja vu here. They've had some problems on their short yardage situations, although he disdained the use of somebody like Newton or Curtis Rouse. Of course, we'd have to take Rouse off of offensive lines. That wouldn't make much sense. Nelson is back in.
I think they got to go up and over, because the Bears are submarining quite a bit.
Now the crowd in the end zone making it impossible for Kramer to get his signals to his teammates, so he goes back to discuss that with Bryant, the referee.
Well, usually the noise factor is much bigger up there in Minnesota.
Yeah,
that's where the noise really takes place. Yeah, it comes off the roof. Here it comes off the lake.
2nd and goal, just inside the 2-yard line. Bears lead 20-7. Vikings with 6:40 remaining in the 3rd period.
Now the Bear players are exhorting their fans to please knock off the noise. Notice Mike Singletary, he's number 50. He's back there ready to play, and he's about 4 yards off the line of scrimmage. And he's going to head for wherever the back comes from. If we take a good look at Mike Singletary, now watch him. He's ready to watch the action and fly through wherever the hole is.
In motion, Jordan. Play action. Pass. Nelson. Broken up. Incomplete. Marshall has the ball, but they rule it. Well, no. I think they're ruling the interception with him down. Marshall's still running downfield. I don't think with the roar of the crowd he realizes the play is over. And he goes all the way to the end zone, about 94 yards, and spikes the ball. But he's just going to discover any second now that they're going to have it way back at their own 3-yard line.
Well, whenever in doubt, I guess you're supposed to run. And that time, Bud Grant came up with a pass out in the flat. Always dangerous when you're down on the goal line. He had 3 shots to get 2 yards, and he opted to go for the touchdown. And when you do it against a team like the Bears, you never know. Here comes Nelson out in the flat, and Wilbur Marshall, with great instincts and reaction, comes up. He's actually double covered. And Marshall makes the interception. And since there was contact at the time, they're ruling him down, and I think the call is correct.
That's a great interception, his 3rd of the season. Marshall got a little exercise, but they have the ball at their own 3-yard line. We'll be right back. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris, where Wilbur Marshall has just intercepted for the Bears and got it to the 3-yard line. On the bench for the Vikings, the injured Brent Boyd, injured on that play. It saw Marshall intercept Tommy Kramer's pass intended for Darren Nelson. The Bears, McMahon from the end zone, and that might have been tipped. Otherwise, it was another one of those wounded ducks that he threw intended for the tight end Reitman.
Well, we may have seen the key play of this football game when Bud Grant, maybe when you've got 2 yards to go and you've got 3 shots at it, I think you're not showing too much confidence in your running game, because you ought to be able to get 2 yards. Everybody knows that the most dangerous pass is a flat pass out there down near the goal line like that, because defenders don't have to worry about anybody getting deep on you. He went for it, and it did not work out.
Andy Frederick is in at tackle for Jim Covert on the left side of the Bears offensive line on 2nd and 10 from their 3-yard line. Walter Payton, and Studwell puts the stop on him, but Payton gets out close to the 7-yard line. It'll leave 3rd and about 5 for the Bears. 6:17 ticking down in the 3rd quarter. Wilbur Marshall with his 3rd interception of the season. Bud Grant was talking about how talented a young player he is, and that he thought that really in their scheme of things, the Bears defensive scheme, that Marshall fits in probably better than Al Harris, who had a Pro Bowl year last year, but was naturally a lineman.
Right.
Marshall's a natural linebacker.
Key play here, if they could stop the Bears would be forced to punt from their end zone.
It's 3rd and a long 5. Payton dancing his way, picks his way, and will be close to the 1st down. Tripped up by Joey Browner, number 47 of the Vikings.
Looks like he got it.
And that tremendous effort, and Browner a little slow to get up. He has spent a lot of time around Payton today. 11 carries, 80 yards now for Walter Payton.
Well, that time the Vikings blitzed in all the gaps, and Payton was still able to get through. So
Payton had 112 yards Monday night against Green Bay on 25 carries. He's 4th in the conference with 534 yards coming into the game today. First down, Chicago. Some early action. Flags are down. McMahon eludes the rush and now takes it out of bounds with Mark Mullaney in pursuit.
Well, somebody jumped off sides, or they were pulled off sides on that particular play.
Illegal shift.
Oh, they were pulled off.
2 men moving at the same time.
Only in the Canadian League can you do that. 2 men moving.
Do they have to move?
Where was it? Right there, Jerry?
If 2 men can move, can they? And up in Canada, can they move? They have to be sideways, or can
They
go
can move anywhere.
Forward?
Yeah, they can move forward, sideways, backwards.
That's not football.
It is up there.
Bud Grant used to coach up there. I guess it is.
Washington leading Cleveland 14-7. That's really settled into a defensive struggle. And Detroit continues to stay ahead of the Dolphins.
Illegal shift. 5 yards. First down.
14-7. Seattle over the Jets. That's a big game for both those teams. Quite a struggle going on in both east and west of the AFC. Miami and the Jets tied at 5-2 coming into the game. And Seattle at 4-3 trying to catch up with Denver and the Raiders. First down and 15. The ball is at the 9-yard line of the Chicago Bears. Give it to Payton again. Payton cuts inside a block, works his way out over the 20-yard line. He's short of the first down, but another pretty piece of running by Walter Payton. Browner and Dolman on the tackle.
He follows his blocking so well here. As you watch the interior lineman on the fake, and you're going to see 63, Jay Hilgenberg, the center, drops out and pulls. Now Payton's going to play off the block by 63 Hilgenberg and then cut back to the inside. He follows his blocker so well, and finally a host of Minnesota Vikings bring him down, but now the Bears have a 2nd and 3. That first down they got a moment ago was a real backbreaker.
12-yard gain for Payton on the play. Ball at the 21. Payton behind Suhey. Studwell put the stop on him, but it looks like he has the first down again. First down Bears out to their 25-yard line. Medical report on offensive guard Brent Boyd of the Vikings, a sprained ankle, and will probably not return. There he is, number 62.
He was out for last year.
An injured reserve all of last season. Their 3rd choice in 1980.
Tim Reitman is in at one of the at the tight end position.
First down for the Chicago Bears. Payton again, he's getting a lot of work, and he runs through tackles and picks up close to 10 yards. Payton starting to shred the Vikings defense, which had done a solid job in the first half.
And watch him bounce off a tackle here. This is a kind of slips and then comes back behind the slip blocks, and he'll get a boost from Chris Goldman, 56. He just boosts right out of it and goes forward for a couple more yards. And now what we're seeing is what we thought maybe at the beginning of the game, that the Bears would try and pound out some yardage and control the ball. Now they're controlling the ball.
And he's over the 100-yard mark, 104 on the day on 14 carries, the 67th time that he's done that in his NFL career. 2nd and a football. They give us to Suhey. Suhey with a big hole. Stack of Vikings throw him back, but he has the first down and then some to the 40-yard line of Chicago. Well, when Walter Payton gets more than 100 in the time that he's been here, it speaks for itself. 44 victories, 22 losses, and at Soldier Field helps even more. 27-7. So the Bears can start thinking with 147 remaining in this 3rd quarter that maybe they're going to get to 8-0. If the Rams were to do that with the Bears, it'd be the first pair of NFL teams to do that since 1934. And in that season, the Bears were joined by the Detroit Lions in scoring that many victories without a loss. This is Suhey. Suhey pulled down by Joey Browner, reacting well to the play, and drops him for a loss, but a flag is down. Joey Browner's had himself some football game today for the Vikings.
Now we probably have a call against the Bears holding, but they lost yardage on that play, so we have to see whether the Vikings will want to give them a repeat of a first down. The way the Bears have been moving the ball, they might think about, you don't usually decline a 10-yard penalty, but we'll see. They might do it this time.
Holding 58 and 65, decline, 2nd down.
Well, that's what I do. Because of the way the Bears are making chunks of yardage, you might as well take it down away from them.
Well, coming up next on CBS, most of you will see those unbeaten Rams trying to join the Bears if the Bears get through the rest of this on top. The Rams and the 49ers. And a big rivalry and obviously big game for the Super Bowl champions, or the Giants at New Orleans, with those two teams still very much in contention in their respective divisions. Millard and Elshire come in for the Vikings on 2nd and 11. A pitch to Payton. Payton cuts inside one block and picks up about 5 or 6 yards, where Rufus Best is finally able to get him down, number 21. Studwell in on it as usual. Studwell gets in on nearly every tackle.
99 tackles so going into this football game. He was in on 99. It's a lot of action.
Third down and a long 4 for Chicago. The ball now out at their 46-yard line as we're in the final seconds of the third quarter here at Soldier Field. Gault comes out to the left. Kent's playing this drive for the Bears, and 8 of them have been running plays. And they've been working. Well, this time it doesn't. Payton met behind the line by Mark Mullaney, the veteran from Colorado State. Hello, Walter. Dropped him for a loss of about a yard.
And he helped him up nicely, too.
So that's the end of the third quarter at Soldier Field with the score. The Bears 20, the Vikings 7. Fans have been introduced to some Bear fans because they've got big Bear buttons on. But they're definitely outfitted as Viking stalwarts.
I'd say they're surrounded, too.
Well, it's a nice warm day down there in the sun. Aaron Nelson waiting. The punt from Buford. And it rolls into the end zone. Sean Gale trying to keep it out. Unable to do so. A 55-yard punt. And the Vikings will start from their own 20. And looking at the stats through the third quarter, you can see the Bears have now got 18 first downs to 13 by the Vikings, and nearly 300 yards of offense. Those 3 turnovers, costly of course, and the worst of them being the interception by Wilson, taken in for a score, and then the next one with him in scoring position, having it picked off by Marshall. And they've been starting in reasonably good field position, but those 2 interceptions stopping anything they've gotten started. Kramer for Darren Nelson, and forced out by Duerson at the 24-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 6. We are just underway in the fourth quarter at Soldier Field. Tim Ryan with Johnny Morris.
And we should point out that now, excuse me, the Vikings are throwing against the wind, so that could affect longer passes. The Vikes don't throw that many long passes, but it's a pretty stiff wind.
Bears have got the refrigerator in the lineup again, with McMichael moving outside the left defensive end, and they're in their 46 defense on 2nd and 6, with the 2 linebackers lined up on the left side. Kramer, and he is sacked. Otis Wilson blowing straight through, the 2nd sack of the day for the Bears. Nobody touched him, and it's back at the 15-yard line.
Wilson will come from the right side of your picture, and he comes inside Tim Irwin, 76, free and clear. And the only person that could pick him up would be the back, and that was Darren Nelson. He got caught up in the middle of the offensive backfield, no chance. And that's the 46 defense for those linebackers, 2 of them over on that one side of the line. Now they're going into the 46 again, over on this side of the line. You can see 58 and 55.
3rd down and 15. Out of the shotgun. Kramer buried again. Dan Hampton, and right with him, number 72, William Anthony Perry, and right behind him, Otis Wilson. Flag down on the play, and I think that comes from a little action after the tackle.
I think it was Tim Irwin and Wilbur Marshall who got into it.
Personal foul penalty signaled against the Bears. Fred Wyatt will detail it for us shortly. So the sack yardage may be reversed.
There is one penalty against the Bears.
Unsportsmanlike, number 95, 15, first down.
That's Richard Dent, called for unsportsmanlike conduct, something that occurred after the sack had been made. And so the good work by his teammates negated by the penalty.
Well, he hasn't been in a good mood since he hasn't got a new contract yet. He's wanted to get his contract renegotiated and extended, and that hasn't come about yet. And he's made references throughout the season. He had 7 sacks coming into this game, but he's been rather ferocious, and that's a big penalty because puts in Minnesota in much better field position, you might say. Richard Dent, 17 and a half sacks last year.
15 yards, 4th down.
Well, that penalty used to be automatic first down.
All right.
Well, there's still some confusion about it. They first said it would be first
The
down.
play was over.
Fourth down.
The play.
No, but at first they said it was going to be first down. In the first announcement.
Third down.
Now they're saying
And
third
now,
down.
then they said fourth, and now they're saying third because it occurred after the play was over.
We haven't tried second yet.
Now that would be different. But third down remains. In other words, it was third down, and because it occurred after the sack had been made and the play was effectively over, the unsportsmanlike conduct occurred. So the yardage is marked off, but the down remains the same.
What has happened is that Mike Ditka's team and the defense especially, they blitz according to a weakness in the offensive line. And they say they blitz according to the offensive scheme of blocking, and they have found a weakness in the Minnesota offensive scheme of blocking on picking up the 46 defense.
Third down and 3, and Bears lose the credit for the sack. And here we got another one, a pass intended for Nelson, another flag down. Several Bears landed on Kramer just after he got the ball off, and Kramer now trying to get at Richard Dent.
Yeah, Richard Dent came after him again.
I think Kramer may have felt that the ball was gone and that he was not a viable target. But a flag is down on the play.
He says, get him out. I think he's saying get Richard out because Richard Dent out because
Yes.
he feels
A lot
that
of
Dent
control.
is.
We have a delay against the offense. Third down.
Ditka furious at Dent. It has taken him out of the game.
He just said third down again.
Well,
They
it
said
wa-
third down last
Well,
time.
there was a penalty.
Oh, no play.
And a delay of
game.
Gives the Vikings 3rd and 8.
In other words, the play was a no play.
delay of game penalty, so it is third down. Now they're backed up 5 yards to make it 3rd and 8.
Boy, watch out. It's going to be Katie bar the door this time.
Kramer gets some time, hits the pass, another flag down. Got the pass to Anthony Carter complete with Les Frazier on the coverage for the Bears, but yet another flag down. So this game degenerating into a flurry of penalties.
And I don't think
flutter of flags.
I don't think Carter got the first down. He was coming back. Now they call it against Minnesota.
A holding call signaled against the Vikings, and it did appear that he was short of the yardage. You're right. That'll be moot. Now, well, it's not really moot because Fencik here can decide whether to take it or not.
Well, they're assuming that the Vikings would have to punt, but maybe
Holding, number 68. Third down.
they're going to take the penalty, put the Vikings deeper back, and really put the rush probably on Kramer again.
They needed about a half yard had they refused it, and it would have been 4th down. 13:59 still to play in regulation time. And I believe Tyrone Keys, yes,
18 yards.
the Keys that's come in for Dent.
Yes. No, Mike Hartenstein is in there, and Refrigerator.
Right.
They're in the 46 once again.
3rd down from the 12-yard line.
Here they come.
And Kramer just threw that. He just had to unload. He had no chance to do anything else except get rid of the football. No chance to get it to Anthony Carter, who was in the general area. And so the Bears defense, a little over-enthusiastically in the case of Richard Dent, but they have forced the Vikings to punt. Finally. Coleman will stand in his end zone.
The Bear defense has been awesome. The Vikings just can't handle it. They can't handle the pass rush.
Dennis McKinnon is the return man waiting for it at the Bears' 45-yard line. Tim Taylor has been handling the punt returning duties. Good kick by Coleman. Into the wind, a dandy. Driving McKinnon back to the 35. McKinnon breaks loose. Gets over the 50. Into the 48-yard line. Gimpy knee and all. A 53-yard punt by Coleman, but a 17-yard return. We'll return to Soldier Field after this word from your local station.